This is Lori, and this is my homework for Paul McWhorter's Pico W course, lesson number 18. Today I'm on the road, and I thought I'd just show some of the nice scenery I have. In a few minutes I'll go back in here and record the homework that I've done for lesson number 18, but I thought I'd share my camp with you so you can see where I'm having a wonderful time doing this homework. This is the heart of Camp Vailer. We've had this property for several years now, and slowly have been turning it into a camp for us to use in the summer and fall, sometimes even the spring. We have a little screen room up here with a bathhouse, laundry in there as well. Got a little woodshed going here, as we have a nice campfire over here that we built with stones on the property. And we have a shed to store all our stuff in while we're not here, and a great little swing to sit on. As you can see, it's an absolutely gorgeous day here in upstate New York. And there's our trailer. Well, enough loafing off. It's time to get this homework done. See you inside. In this homework, we're going to use an RGB LED and 3 buttons. One button will control the red LED, turning it on and off. The second button will control the green LED, and the third will control the blue. Here's my circuit. I have the Pico here on the breadboard. Here's the RGB LED and the current limiting resistors going back to GPIO pins. Here's our 3 buttons set up so that we'll use internal pull-up resistors, controlling the red, green, and blue portions of our RGB LED. And then for a little excitement, I included a mystery button that we'll press and see what happens. But for the main part of the homework, if we press the red, green, or blue, we'll turn on and off the red, green, or blue part of our RGB LED. Here's the program that I put together to do the homework as Paul requested. We'll import the needed modules. We'll set up our red, green, and blue buttons with pull-up resistors, and we'll set up the red, green, and blue LEDs on appropriate pins. Then, as I showed in the last homework, I'm going to go ahead and use interrupt functions to control my buttons. So I'll set up a flag for each of the colors and a debounce time for each of the colors, and then put together the interrupt functions for each button. The red button, the green button, and the blue button. And if you recall, we have to make the red flag and the debounce time global so we can use them throughout the program. And then a little bit of debouncing, making sure that we're only responding to real button presses and not just fluctuations. And then if we press the red button, all it's going to do is pass back the red flag equal to 1, and then we'll know that the button has been pressed for red, green, and blue. Then we'll set up our interrupt requests, saying when the pin is rising, back to a 1, then we'll engage the handler for each of those buttons. And when we get into our while true loop, you'll see that it's pretty simple once we have that together. If the red flag is 1, meaning we press the button, then we'll immediately turn it back off again so we can register additional presses. I'm printing to the screen that the red button was pressed, and then I'll toggle the red LED. So using the toggle function means I don't have to keep track of the LED state, so that's kind of a little bit of a savings there. We'll do that for the green and the blue, and if we press the keyboard interrupt, we'll turn everything off. Let's go ahead and give this a go. You can see I have my actual layout here, and we'll run it. And let's press the red button, and the red light comes on, and you can see in the shell it says red button pressed. If I press the button again, it turns off, and it doesn't matter how long I hold because I'm using the interrupt. It works nicely, and I can turn on the green, turn it off, turn on the blue, and turn it off. Yeah, so that seems to be working pretty well. And what's nice is I guess you can kind of use this to do some color mixing by turning on and off different ones of the colors. Alright, so we got that done, and I'll go ahead and Control C to exit. To add in my mystery button, I decided to switch everything over so that I'm using pulse width modulation for the red, green, and blue. We didn't need to do that to just turn them fully on and off. We could just use the toggle function to do that. But the mystery button, I wanted to use pulse width modulation so that I could do some other types of colors for when we press the mystery button. So we'll just set the buttons up and set up the pulse width modulation as we've done before. And now I have additional variable here for the mystery button. And I also am keeping track of whether the button is on or off, because I can't use the toggle function trick when I'm using the pulse width modulation. So I'll have to keep track of whether the red, green, or blue are on or off and know whether to switch, how to switch their state. So that's an added complication, adding in my mystery button. Still the same interrupts as before, and then a mystery button interrupt as well, and put the requests in for all of them. And I'll need a color dictionary as I've used in previous homeworks. As you can see here, these are the colors of the rainbow, and so when we press that mystery button, we're going to see the colors of the rainbow. So that's the mystery. And when I use pulse width modulation, it definitely is a little more complicated. Now, I probably could do this more efficiently somehow, but if a button is turned on, for example, the red one, if we press the button, then we'll turn it off, just as always. And then we have to just check the state. So if the state is true, then we're going to turn the state false, and we're going to turn off the red LED by changing it to black. And then if the LED is off, then we're going to go ahead and turn it on to the correct color. So that's how I handled that, just using the dictionary to get the numbers and so forth. So yeah, the green and the blue. And then the mystery button, when we press that, we're going to go through the rainbow colors in order. So to do that, I had to create a list of the colors in order, because if you just try to loop through the dictionary, it isn't necessarily in the order in which you put it in. So the way to get around that was just to create a list in the order I want to show the colors, and then loop through that and get the color and display it for a little bit of time. And I printed mystery button pressed and then mystery button finished, because it will take a little bit to see the colors go through. And same as always, if we press Control C, we'll turn everything off. So let's see this one run. There we go, up and running. So let's just check and make sure our buttons are still doing what they did before. And they are. Kind of doing some long presses here. Yeah, so we get our red, green, and blue, and we can certainly mix them as we did before. But now let's press the mystery button over here, and we'll see it go through the rainbow. Alright, so that was my homework for lesson 18. Thanks for the great lesson, Paul, and thank you for watching.